James. I'm a personal trainer from empoweringpt.co.uk, and today I'm going to be talking to you about yielding isometrics. So I've already told you about the different types of isometrics that there are. Now this is going to be one of them. Okay, this is the most common one, so this includes your wall sits and your planks. So everybody has probably done one before and hated it. That's because of that burning sensation that you get with it and all of the other isometrics. However, this one is typically associated with more of an endurance-based training. So unlike some of the other methods, instead of focusing on trying to lift a weight, you're trying to hold on to a weight that's already manageable. So for example, if I was to use some dumbbells and do a front raise and hold it, this would be a yielding isometric. And what this will do is eventually it will start burning, okay? But what you want to do is make sure to keep it up at the same height and hold it there. If it starts to drift down, then it becomes a negative, okay? Or you're focusing on the eccentric portion of the exercise, okay? You want to make sure that you can hold it up. Obviously at the very end, if you're pushing yourself, it will start to drop down, but once it starts moving, you're going to break down the muscle even further and struggle to lift it up. Of course, that's going to help for muscle growth, but if you're not so worried about that, try not to let it drop. So like I said in my last video, you can do this with body weight or with weights. So when you do your planks, just making sure to keep yourself completely upright. You don't want to let yourself move around like a lot of people do, shifting the hips just to relieve that tension. You want to hold it there. You want to push through that burning sensation. Okay? The more it burns and the harder it is, the more benefits you're going to get from it. You can also pick exercises and then hold it in a certain position. For example, one of my favorites would be a squat hold. So you would come down, hold the squat, and perform it there. You can hold it at different positions to work different ranges and different muscles, and that's perfectly fine. Because what you don't want to do is be really enduring at holding this position here with your quads, but not be able to hold it down here. Another exercise you can do for this would be a press-up hold. So you would come down from a press-up, get your elbows out, hold it with your elbows in line with your shoulders, and you'd hold this position here and just keep holding it there. Now you want to be doing this for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then repeating that 3 to 4 times depending on your ability. Now if you can do any of these exercises for longer than a minute, really you want to be adding some weight on, because then you're becoming too enduring. If you're doing a particular sport or event that you really want to last in, and you need to stay low in a stance or use a particular muscle constantly, then that's absolutely fine. Then you can carry on and try to increase your total time. However, for most people, it just isn't functional. They don't need to withstand that much lactic acid for a long period of time. So, adapt it to you. So ideally, when you do this, you want to think about the ranges of motion that you're using. So for example, if I'm doing my front raise again, and I want to use the whole of my shoulder and put as much stress on it as possible, then I would start off maybe holding it out here, but then if I want to work lower down towards a typically weaker area of the deltoid, because not many people work it, then I'll go on to an incline bench, sit back into it, and then lift up. So again, my arm is in line with the floor, so I get the full effect of gravity pushing it down. That way I get the most amount of tension on my shoulder because of leverage, and that way I can then work this bottom portion of the deltoid and then the top portion as well. So what you can do is lay down on the front of it and lift it up as well here to work the very top of the shoulder. It's up to you. Break up a movement or the range of motion in a joint and then work it thoroughly. But typically this is a good exercise for helping any sticking points that you might have with exercises, or if there's a particular muscle that gets tired or burns quite quickly. So if you're tired of a muscle having this burning sensation and that is wearing you down, that you can't quite finish an exercise because of it, then this will help. Okay, although it's encouraging you to burn and to fill that muscle full of lactic acid, it's actually improving your lactic acid threshold so that you can withstand it better. So that's all I've got for you today on yielding isometrics. Hopefully you've learnt something. These are quite familiar exercises, but remember, even with a plank, if you can do it for a minute, you need to change it up. Either do a different exercise, change it around a little bit, or do something completely different. Add a weight onto it. Experiment. So I hope you've enjoyed the content for today. If you have, don't forget to check out my other isometric videos. For more content on similar subjects, you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for regular updates on fitness, martial arts and self-defense.